Before we jump in, still got construction going on. Hopefully next week it'll be over, we'll see. Here's the dilemma GameStop faces these days. When new consoles come out, their sales take an Eiffel Tower-sized Cialis and stiffen up faster than you can say bleeding erection. When new consoles aren't on the market, their biggest sustainable market is in used games and hardware. But the problem is that these two things cancel each other out. As people buy new consoles, they slow down on buying older devices and content. Now, the steady stream of revenue from the new titles used to be enough to sustain this year to 2 year long lull in the retailer, but with a larger and larger percentage of new content being bought online, that system no longer works. To their credit, GameStop isn't taking the rapid collapse of their business model lying down, and trust me, it is collapsing. The fiscal quarter containing the store's largest selling season, the winter holidays, was more than disappointing in 2014. Revenue dropped 5.6% and was far below analyst expectations. Unsurprisingly, shares in the company haven't been doing too well either. On the bright side, you can currently buy a handful of GameStop shares for less than the price of a new release at one of their stores. Why buy a pile of shit when you can invest in a colon, I always say. Anyway, GameStop is doing some things to weather this growing storm. Chiefly, they're selling the very items that are partially responsible for their downfall. That's right, GameStop runs a side business called Technology Brands, which is quite possibly the emptiest corporate nonsense title I've ever heard. The stores beneath this umbrella sell smartphones, tablets, and other brands of gadgetry. That business is doing quite well, featuring over 200 retail locations with plans to open 350 to 550 more in the near future. But I want to stress here that that side of the company has absolutely nothing to do with gaming. Ultimately, the reason GameStop is going to fail is because it's irrelevant. There, I said it. For that matter, hard copies of games are irrelevant. In my mind, the decline of the company is only partially their fault. It's like a hotter dude suddenly showing up to the all-female commune you've been living at for a year. Yeah, you had a whole lot to offer once, but you've been replaced by a better model. Your penis, like the halls of your local GameStop, is going to be pretty lonely for the foreseeable future. And GameStop knows this, or if they don't know it, they're a bunch of morons. Just this year so far, they're closing 3% of their gaming stores. Now that doesn't sound like very much, right? Maybe a handful, a dozen max. Try closer to 180. This as they're ramping up their device business. You seeing a pattern here yet? But dude, do not feel bad for this company. Remember how I said it was only partially their fault? Well, the part that is their fault is pretty massive. Here's just a short list of terrible business practices they've either been accused of or actually proven to have shoveled our way throughout the years. And I'm going to try to do this in 3 breaths or less. Repackaging used and damaged titles as new and selling them at full retail price. Removing competitor coupons from unopened games before selling them to customers. Overloading promotions and sales add-ons to the point of being pitched 10 items when you're only trying to purchase 1. Selling damaged discs to the point of complete unplayability and refusing to test them in stores. Refusing to provide information on first purchase passes for games that require them in an attempt to milk as much resale value on used games as humanly possible. Marking used games up way more than is appropriate or the retail standard. Selling customer phone numbers to telemarketers for fuck's sake, and being one of the top 10 worst companies in the world to work for. I could go on and on and on, but that's the end of my 3rd breath. I did it! In the end, fuck GameStop. I'm not saying they're going to go out of business anytime soon. With the aid of their device business, they'll probably hold down the fort for a while. What I am saying is that every gamer I know wants them to go out of business. And just like socially conscious consumers never step foot in a Walmart, gamers who really care about gaming should never step foot in a GameStop. And that has already begun to catch up with them in a big way. It's only a matter of time before they can no longer sustain the new console release ebb and flow that they've got going on and have to scale down to such a size that they become completely and utterly irrelevant. And you know what? They deserve it. I've been the Higgs from MMOplay.com, and this has been an episode of MMO Play Dailies. I want you to tell me your terrible GameStop stories. Do it in the comments below or on Twitter via the hashtag GameStop Stories. Yeah, we're totally going 2011 on this bitch and taking over a hashtag. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.